This is Matt once again. Welcome back to another review. There's another paid request, this time from Guillermo. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos, feel free to do so. It may take a little bit because I'm a bit behind, but I will try to do my best. Links, whether directly through my PayPal or my Patreon, both links are down below in the info box. And this is for a new film called VHS 94. Yes, they made another one, which was very under the radar. Now, it was for Shudder. I don't have Shudder. How did I see it? Honestly, I was looking for a trailer and I saw that someone uploaded it on YouTube. And because I really had no intention of seeing this on any other fashion, because here's the thing, the first VHS, I hated. I still think it's one of the worst anthology films I've ever seen. That's why I said VHS might as well stand for very horrible shit. Just what was about that anthology? The dumbest people ever for the wraparound. Oh, where did this dead body come from? Let me just sit beside this dead body and watch VHS tapes. I'm like, if you said that gun about watching VHS tapes, take them home. Don't just sit down next to a dead body and watch them. What a story about, oh my god, thank god we're on this honeymoon where with the intense scene of them getting their gas at the gas station. Oh my god, the guy was sleeping and $20 was stolen, man. Stole his $20. Or the one story with the weird girl going, you like me? Do you like me? No, I don't. Get the fuck out of my face. The closest was the last one, and that was just because of the physical actions in it. Not really because of the story. Sorry, my nose is itching. It's not really because of the characters, because they were unlikable. The ending was typical. It's just some of the little tricks and effects they did was interesting. But other than that, like, sincerely, up there with Creepshow 3 and the Dark Tapes, literally one of the worst anthology films I've seen. The sequel was a nice surprise. It was a welcome surprise. VHS 2 was much better than expected. It was much better than I thought it would be. Aside from one iffy story with a guy with an eyeball that's the camera, the other stories were very solid. And I still think that's the best of this franchise. VHS 2 is easily the best. It's got the best segment with the guy who did the Raid Redemption. The guy who did the Raid Redemption did a story. And this crazy, weird cult that just insanity abounds. It really impressed me with the... You didn't know what was going to happen next. Bodies explode, and you have this weird creature coming out of a lady, and all these cults doing their suicide paths. You're wondering, where the hell... What's going to happen next? And it was well executed. That also had a nice showing from one of the guys who did the Blair Witch Project. It was a different take on a zombie story, where you're on the POV of a zombie, out doing his jogging and bicycling and going out. He gets bit, and from his perspective we see him turn from a human to a zombie and go on a rampage, and then actually some heart to it where he realizes what he's become, which made the ending a bit different compared to the usual. And then you had a bit of a fun one with this kids party and alien abduction story. And that was fun because of the color scheme, and it was from the director. Was the director of... Is the guy who did Hobo with a Shotgun? I can't remember now. But VHS 2 is the best one. VHS Viral... There's one story I really do like. A couple stories were a little bit ambitious, but it was a bit of a mixed mess. I did like the Steve Border segment called Bone Storm. I wish someone would edit that out of VHS Viral and put it in VHS 2. Take the stupid one with the eyeball, take that out, and put the Steve Border... Because Steve Borders, who are kind of funny and badass, they're kicking zombie ass, shooting them. Very fun, over the top, action-packed. I think it's one of the best fun segments of the whole franchise. I wish that was in VHS 2 instead of the eyeball one. And there was one with the magician. They had a couple ambitious things, but that and the wraparound was a bit of a mess. So I don't know, I'm like 5 minutes in, I've gone to this one. This one, I like VHS 2 more easily. I would probably say I like VHS Viral more than this. I'd probably go VHS 2, Viral, then maybe this movie in the first one. I would do that because there's one segment I did not mind in this. And then one segment had an interesting idea. As in, I liked the concept of it. I just wish it was done better. And maybe with time to flourish. So, the first VHS, there's that one story and one segment idea of iota fucks about. So I still think the first one is the absolute worst one. But the wraparound, you have the SWAT team, most unprofessional SWAT team, which I guess when you get to the twist, I guess you know why, but supposedly a SWAT team trying to go in for a drug raid, and everyone's acting like an idiot. Keep the channel clear, you fucking professional. I'm thinking, this is like the worst portrayal of a SWAT team I've ever seen in a film. And there's people in cells, but their eyes are taken out. They've been watching these tapes, and you're wondering what's going on. Everyone acts shittily. I know that's not a word. Might as well be shittily. So, this is the wraparound story. By the way, do these films need wraparound stories? Like, I'm serious. Do you actually need a wraparound story? Because even VHS 2, the wraparound story, no one gives a fuck about the wraparound stories in these. So don't do it. Just don't do it. You don't need a wraparound. You can literally have a text. These are VHS tapes found. You don't watch some of them. They've been leaked online. They're from 1994. We compiled 4 of them. You can literally just have a simple text and just do that for your wrap a fucking round. You don't need a wraparound. Not every anthology needs a wraparound. So, the first story could be potential because it takes place in a sewer, a storm drain. It's a nice setting because you get the darkness, the claustrophobia, but there's not much to it. All these takes place in 94, so it's going to try to look like video camera footage of 94 with video pixelation, and it looks like shot on Shitio. That's what it's supposed to be. So it has that steam of like a daytime soap opera, more so than the other ones. And part of me wants to say that the 94 aspect hurt them in the long run. Because like VHS 2, it's called VHS 2, and even I'm going, well, it's technically not VHS. But they just use it as a gimmick to make these found footage anthology. Here, I guess, at least they're attempting to live up to the title, to be fair, so I guess I can't really knock it too much. I mean, it's called VHS, at least they tried to go that route. I guess that's understandable, so I'm not going to not the look of it that much, if I'm going to be fair about it. What I'm not going to be fair is that even the first story, you don't care about the characters. There's a female reporter and a cameraman. There's some legend of a creature in the sewers. They go in the sewers. Their news is, at one point they bleep up someone saying fucking, but then a second person says fucking and they don't bleep it out. So I'm like, wow, this is a really consistent news program. We'll bleep out fucks whenever we feel like it. So the two go into a storm drain. Not a bad location, but then they see someone. Of course, they look around. They talk to the guy. There's ooze coming out of his mouth. The two get caught. Long story short, which is short anyway. There's a cult that worship this creature, and because of the look of the film, I could barely tell what the creature even looks like. It looks like a shitty xenomorph if it wasn't black. I don't know how else to word it. It's supposed to be like a rat creature, but it doesn't... I guess it's supposed to look like a rat, but I can't even tell what the fuck it was. I just wasn't that impressed with the creature, and that, you know, hurts it. It pretty much, it spits on people's faces. Sometimes they burn, sometimes it don't. So it kills the cameraman, then spits goop on the reporter's face. Then apparently she was found. She's doing a news program. She keeps saying rat man, rapra, spits on the other news guy's face. And the one decent thing is his face falls off. You get a pretty decent practical effect. Some may deem it cheap, but I don't know. The cheap practical, I thought it worked for what it needed to be. It's nice, gory, done on camera. I mean, it's a waste of, if you want to see something in a sewer, go watch The Tunnel. You know, especially one that deals with found footage. The Tunnel is a pretty damn good movie, in my opinion. I mean, it's pretty much a segment that just leads up to a decent makeup effect. I was very indifferent on this. You don't care about the characters. This cult thing, it just basically like, who is this cult? How did this come to be? How did this cult... There's like one guy that acts like a professor. He's like a professor from a college, it seems like. Pontificating about this rat man and to serve their purposes. It just brings up more questions than answers. Whatever. Just didn't do much for me. I don't know. It wasn't scary. It wasn't creepy. The only two things I would give it, again, the makeup effect with the guy's face falling off. And then there's a bit where something's happening and the video cuts to a commercial for a veggie masher that you would see on the Home Shopping Network, or you would see an infomercial late at night. And okay, I get what I was trying to do comedically. So then the second story, you get a funeral, you know, a wake. It's supposed to be a memorial video. This woman's been hired to film as well as be there in case this wake for this person who recently died. And then this goes very slow and very boring. She pretty much waits around. The power goes out. She waits around some more. She calls 2 or 3 times. She waits around some more. Some old guy comes in, says some stuff. I paid my respects, leaves. Who the hell that is, what that pertained to, I don't know. And never answers that question. Then she keeps hearing pounding from the coffin. When she comes back, the coffin's tipped over. The guy's there, half his face is gone. I can't really see her. Oh, by the way, there's a tornado warning, so a tornado hits the place. And as she's being attacked, then when the camera shows up, it's upside down, and she walks out. I thought she was walking just hurt, and then walked and left. I had to look her up and be like, what the fuck happened? She got possessed. I'm like, really? I guess because the way she's walking kind of like the possessed guy. But I figured, well, she's walking like that because she just survived a fucking attack and a fucking tornado smashing the fucking place up. I could barely fucking tell that she was possessed. I didn't know that was a thing about being possessed. I thought it was going to be like a vampire or something. And the guy said some stuff, but all you did is, there was a phone call. Oh yeah, that dead guy was on the front page of the paper. Apparently he was on the roof shouting gibberish. Okay, shouting gibberish. The guy could be fucking crazy for all I know. Crazy people don't explode when sunlight hits them. I don't give a fuck how crazy they are. They did a different movie. But this is just a very boring, dwindling shits of a anthology story. Again, it's not really much of a story. It's like, hey, we got this 1-2 places, set up some chairs, have a wait around, up, casket flipped over, a guy's wandering around, she sneaks around, explosion because a tornado had just hit it, and then cut back, she's possessed, I guess. She walks the fuck away. It wasn't scary, wasn't creepy, wasn't anything to talk about. Now, the next story, the third story, I didn't mind. It's the one story I think deserves to be in a better movie. It's kind of a take on this movie called Frankenstein's Army. Although, to be honest, I like this better than that. Pretty much, it's a foreign movie, so there's subtitles. Doesn't bother me, but in case people are bothered by it. This mad scientist doing these experiments where he kidnaps people and gives them robotic limbs. Like, there's a guy... I would say this. If you're at all interested in this, before I spoil anything, type the title. You may find it on YouTube still up for free. Usually what you do is you put the title up, and then for the... when there's options, you click on, like, do you want a video that's 5 to 10 minutes? Usually you click over 20 minutes, and sometimes that's how you can find full movies on YouTube. So again, you could copy the title and the title of the video, copy part of it, paste it, do that, maybe you find it. And if you do, watch the third story, because there's at least a bit of action. There's a bit of a Doom quality to it. And while, again, there's some iffy CGI for its low budget, but there's some pretty decent practical as well. At least there is a certain sense of energy and a certain sense of action and a little bit of fun to it. Again, of all the stories, that's the one with the most merit. And I'll say it, if you don't like that story, you're not going to like anything. I would say that story's worth a look. I won't spoil it right now. It is a mad scientist, cyborgs, and yeah, there's a bit of Doom type of action. Doom the video game. And like I said, once in a while there's iffy CGI effects, but there's some decent practical blood, and like I said, at least there's a certain sense of energy, certain sense of a story, certain sense of a character, which is usually part of any fucking story. Again, I know there's a movie called Frankenstein's Army that kind of did that, but this other part of me is, I wish this was kind of a movie of its own, honestly. I would not have minded more of this. So again, more into spoilers. If you want, you could pause the video, go watch that if you want, come back to it. But again, the spoilers, you know, it's a head with spider robot legs under it, and that experiment fucked up, and this mad scientist has these two subjects, one's 98 and one's 99. One's a guy, one's a girl. He's doing experiments on them. Then the SWAT team, an actual SWAT team, unlike the fucking wraparound stupid story, they arrive, they shoot the scientist, and they're ready to shoot her. But one of the SWAT who's like carrying the camera is like, wait, that's one of the people we can't just shoot her. That's one of the people we're looking for. We could try to help her. Wow, a supporting character you can give a fuck about. Why is that such a hard thing to find in this fucking movie? Characters to give a shit about. And then even the lady. She wanders around. She doesn't want to be killed. She wants to live. She sees herself in the mirror. Her head is no more. Her head is like a fucking like video camera thing. And she wants to live. The other subject is this robot with like big blades for arms. And I think pieces of the head look a bit CG. But for a low budget, I can excuse it because I see at least some creativity. I at least see a bit of ambition, and I appreciate that. I do appreciate that ambition. And at least it said a little bit, let's go a bit of balls to the walls with this. Where the robots cutting people in half and stabbing through SWAT members, while the lady, it'll cut between different POV. Her POV, she realizes what she's been turned into, and then she'll see like these experiments where it's kind of a cyborg version of Hellraiser with some of these experiments she sees, and then these soldiers try to kill her, and she's just defending herself, and she gets like an arm cannon that she puts on, and she's like, and even like a grenade launcher at one point. That's what I mean. I wish this was longer. I wish this was his own movie. It reminded me of kind of the Hotel Inferno movies, which there's been 3 of them. I think the second one's the best one, where again that Doom type of feeling, especially when she got the arm cannon and like POV like the. Yeah, I wish this was longer. I want to see more of this. Fuck the other stories. Make this the story. She, like, and there's some decent effects. Like, one, she stabs a guy through both cheeks, which I thought looked pretty cool, pretty gnarly. And some other stuff happens. And then you have the scared guy from before that try to help. And she's like, I want to live. So she lets him live. So wow, you're actually developing some type of story. Oh, here's the scared guy. We saw him before. He's actually a decent guy. Oh, she just wants to live. She's not going to kill someone if, you know, they're not going to try to kill her. There's consistency. Oh, there's the commander that was ready to kill her before. Ready to do it again. And the scared guy gets his moment, saving her. Now the ending... The scared guy gets fucked up. And then the girl is able to rip the things, the other robots' brain out. Number one, I wish there was more of a battle. One-on-one battle. Or maybe there's a few bits of the cannon, or maybe she has to put something else on her arm. And there's like a back and forth fight, back and forth battle. Kind of like a Doom video game. And the scared guy, I wish he didn't die. Maybe she saved him. She did try to save him, but he was too far gone. But maybe she saved him, and you had a one-on-one fight, which then ends with ripping the motherfucker's brain out. And then if she falls down and the hurt guy maybe lifts her up and helps her out, they both walk out and boom, it's over. Instead it ends with she rips the thing's brains out, falls down, and the security camera goes, she gets up and walks out. So there's a couple things I would change, but maybe it's because we only have this amount of time. You know, we only have this amount of money. Just think about, with each of these stories, they have to share that budget with the other stories' budgets and the wraparound. The wraparound, the first, the second, and the fourth story. So you have to share the budget with the others, so you're not going to have much to work with, and you don't have much time to work with. So I think any of the flaws, if you have more budget, you could smooth out the effects. You have more time, you could build up the ending, you could build up, like... So, again, I don't blame the movie for that, or I don't blame the segment. I think the people who were involved, they tried to do the best they could, and the other things fucked it up. And so it's bad. It's too bad. It's too bad. It's a decent segment in a pile of shit. Kind of like VHS Viral, but I would say that Skateboarder Bone Storm I liked a lot more than this one, but... And that, the other stories had a little bit of ambitious stuff, unlike this. This one, like the first 2 stories I thought were pretty lame as fuck. And the last story, the 4th one, it's a decent concept. Where, again, these pretty much takes place in 94. This one is a white supremacist group that has a weapon that they want to use on a government building. And the weapon they have is a vampire that they take blood out of, and then want to put it, whether in an animal, they even do a test where they put it in a bunny, and they put it out somewhere, and then when sunlight hits it, there's a big explosion. And that's their weapon. They want to use this, but before that happens, obviously you don't care what happens to these people because they're a white supremacist group. Fine. You're glad that they get killed. But the writing just gets lazy, and the acting's not that good, and when I say the writing's lazy, obviously, you know, shit's gonna hit the fan, but the way the night before everyone decides to get drunk, why don't you wait till afterward to get drunk? And then this guy, because he's drunk, goes, hey, the monster, hey, don't you want to piss on him? What? Yeah, don't you want to piss on him? Come on, man, don't be a pussy. And then the two guys go in, why you kiss it? We just established that this vampire's blood will infect you, and with sunlight you'll blow up like a dynamite. Like a whole box of dynamite. Big explosion. Why would you want to kiss... There's screenwriting that you have to be lenient on because A, have to get the B, and you don't know how to do it in a short enough time, so there's corners you have to cut. And then there's just stuff that you just go, you didn't even fucking try. And if you're not going to try, then why the fuck am I going to try to be nice about your bullshit segment? I have a subscriber who is a writer, who has written movies. I would bet he would even say, yeah, that's fucking stupid. Like, that's stupid writing. Come on now, man. Then it cuts to like morning, where alarm bells ring out. And some guys go out and they find a dead body. And apparently some of the dead bodies are in the barn. And then some idiot, because they happen to have a fucking like 50 caliber on the back of their pickup truck, starts firing, doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, gets like 2 or 3 of his guys killed. So then they tell him so he could fucking stop trying to accidentally murdering them. Then they're like, well, shit. Let's go in there and kill it. I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. You know it's in this barn, right? You know it's in the barn. You know when sunlight hits, it will explode. Why don't you just drive your truck through the barn and create a big fucking hole with the barn? You do it a couple times, vampires going to hit it and kaboom. Or you can find ways. I bet you, if you're a fucking militia that has a fucking 50 caliber, you probably have some goddamn dynamite. You probably have some explosives, right? If you have a fucking 50 caliber in the back of your truck, throw some dynamite and grenades and blow up your barn. If you blow up enough of it, believe me, the vampire's nowhere to go. Come on, boom. That would be more to my liking than just going into a dark-ass barn with guns that you know won't do shit. But they're stupid. A lot of people in this movie are stupid. So they go in, they get killed. The vampire, when he attacks, it's kind of like what they did in Blade 2. Although, I grant a bit more practical. But Blade 2, what I mean, but with the chin and stuff, and it opens up. I'm like, what? Did they just steal from Blade 2 for that? the vampires from Blade 2. It's a semi-prequel to Blade 2. And of course, it kills the couple white supremacists that are left, either smashing a guy's head into the floor, bite a couple, and then there's the last one left. It opens up the shutters, sunlight comes in, blows everything up, including the compound. Now, this is an interesting concept. A white, some type of terrorist group using this kind of weapon, and okay, vampire blood, using it in the way that if sunlight hits it, it creates a big, massive explosion. That's a different way of detailing a vampire story, where you're using the blood as an explosive weapon compound. That's something I haven't really seen before. But because we've seen in other movies that when sunlight hits them, the vampires explode. What if that explosion, again, is like a bomb? I'm like, well, again, if you could... And what you do is that you get an animal, I guess, you get something, you put it in, and then when something happens and sunlight hits it, could be maybe the perfect bomb, or imaginative way of doing a bomb. But this needed a lot better writing, better actors, and definitely more fleshed out. And better than just, oh, the guys are drunk and, hey, why don't you go piss on the vampire? And it cuts away and seems like a lot of important shit we've just missed. And then an ending that felt rushed. Like, the ending felt rushed. It felt like a bit too much of a build-up, where a little went a long way, and the payoff felt like a half-assed rush job, honestly. And the wraparound, apparently of the SWAT people, 2 of the ladies are actually killers that deal with extreme videos. Which then again, it raises a lot of questions. Do they do SWAT on their off time? Did they somehow sneak to be SWAT team members? Did they go through all the trouble to be SWAT team members to do this? Again, are they SWAT team members, but then people don't know who you are? Because you don't just get into the SWAT willy-nilly. I don't really get the whole concept of the wraparound. They were pretending to be SWAT, or the... I don't fucking know. I don't fucking care. It might be the worst wraparound. It gives the first series wraparound a run for its money for the worst wraparound. It really does. So again, there's 2 stories. The last one, there's a concept there, but the execution is very flawed. The third story is pretty decent. It deserves to be in a better movie or a better anthology or more flourished. The second story is boring and pointless, and the first story was rather lame, with a monster that I could barely tell what the hell it even looked like because of the 94 video quality, which maybe that's what... hey, we'll hide how shitty the monster looks, but I could barely just tell you a description of it. So, as it is, yeah, it's one of these things that, is it worth it to watch one of these anthologies to get just one decent story out of it? Again, viral, it was the skateboarder one. Someone needs to make the ultimate VH2 edit. Get rid of the wraparound. You do what I did. Do the text. Bunch of these videos were found. And get rid of the eyeball segment. Keep the other segments. Put in the skateboarding segment from viral. And put in the, I think it's called the subject, the third story, the crazy cyborg doom type of thing from this story. Take that from this story, the skateboarder bone storm from the third one, put those two in place of the eyeball stupid one in VHS 2, get rid of the fucking wraparound of VHS 2, and boom, you got a pretty damn good movie. VHS 2 is still a good movie, but you have a pretty fucking good movie. I dare say one of the best anthologies if you did that. That should be the true VHS movie. So. Take that for what you will. So with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.